Tom Hartman here on the news. You need to know this. The highly sophisticated and complex Big Brother security apparatus known as the Patriot Act was extended for another 4 years, signed into law minutes before midnight last night by a machine. At the authorization of the president, who is currently in France, an auto pen machine was used that holds a pen and signs the president's exact signature. Hysterics in Congress said it was crucial to have the bill signed into law before midnight, or else the Patriot Act would have expired, halting all the ongoing unconstitutional actions of our various police and spy agencies into your and my life. Rand Paul, the one man standing in the way of an extension all week, gave up his fight after two of his amendments to rein in the power of the federal government were defeated on the Senate floor. At some point in the last 10 years since 9/11, the Patriot Act has become a staple in America, with politicians on both sides of the aisle supporting it, as well as a plurality of Americans. It just goes to show how quickly our freedoms can be eroded, and how quickly we can all get used to it. Somewhere, James Madison, the father of our Constitution, must be horrified with the direction our nation is headed. Republicans in the Senate are resorting to any means necessary to make sure that the president does not appoint Elizabeth Warren to chair the newly created Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. First, they called her up for a hearing in which they dragged her through the mud and lied about her while incorrectly calling her a liar. And now, fearing the president may recess appoint Warren when the Senate is out of session, Senate Republicans are making sure that the Senate never goes out of session using procedural tactics. The Republicans have made sure that the Memorial Day recess, during that time, the Senate will actually be in a pro forma session, meaning no business will be done, but technically the Senate will still be in session to prevent any recess appointments. Elizabeth Warren is the most eloquent voice in support of the middle class and the harshest critic to the banksters. She's America's best shot to stop Wall Street from screwing over Main Street, which is why Republicans and their bankster campaign financiers can't stand her. In the best of the rest of the news, the Endless War Power Bill, also known as the Defense Authorization Act, was passed yesterday by Republicans in the House of Representatives. The bill funds the Department of Defense, but also gives the president power to wage endless war all around the planet until every single terrorist on Earth is killed or surrenders. Beyond the endless war provisions, Republicans stuffed the bill full of partisan goodies, like more hurdles to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and limits on how the president can implement the START nuclear treaty with Russia. The White House threatened to veto the bill earlier this week if it gets through the Senate. Let's see if the Senate can fix this bill and, for the first time in a decade, actually move to rein in the powers of the president. Yesterday, Vermont Governor Peter Shumlin signed into law a single-payer health care bill, making Vermont the first state in the nation to make basic health care coverage a right and not a privilege, just like every other developed nation on the planet. For the next few years, the state will develop a single-payer system and to have it ready to go by 2014, at which point the state will need to obtain a waiver from Congress to drop out of Obamacare, a move that the president as well as Democratic lawmakers endorse. Yet Republicans, even though they hate Obamacare and spew rhetoric about states' rights, are reluctant to let Vermont do what it wants. Why? Because they're scared to death that Vermont may be onto something. If a single-payer health care system works there, it could sweep the nation, putting out of business all their for-profit health insurance cronies. That's what happened in Canada. Let's hope it happens here. The White House is cracking down on freedom of the press. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and New York Times reporter James Risen was subpoenaed by the government this week in an effort to force Risen to give up his sources. Risen broke the news that the CIA is undermining Iran's nuclear program, information that he obtained through a leak in the CIA. A former CIA officer has been indicted for his role in the leak, but the government needs Risen's testimony to secure a conviction. And Risen is not budging, saying, "This is a fight to defend the First Amendment and freedom of the press." Journalism, or the press, is the only industry mentioned by name in our Constitution. Our founding fathers knew exactly how important a free press was and is to a healthy democracy. Let's make sure the White House knows how important it is, too. The relationship between Pakistan and the United States is deteriorating. The nation that's been accused of hiding Osama bin Laden is now telling the White House to reduce the number of U.S. troops on the ground in Pakistan and to close 3 intelligence centers that are crucial to monitoring the movements of Taliban fighters, a move that could seriously hinder our nation's war efforts in Afghanistan. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was sent to Pakistan today to mend fences with a government that's growing more and more hostile toward America. Much of that hostility can be tracked back to a decision made inside the Bush administration, inside the Bush White House back in 2007, to not protect a true reformer, Benazir Bhutto, in her bid to become Pakistan's president. Bhutto was assassinated a few weeks after she unsuccessfully pleaded with the Bush administration for more security, according to a recently leaked WikiLeaks memo. Looks like President Obama once again has to deal with another mess created by George Bush. Crazy alert. One person's trash is another person's treasure. City of Pittsburgh spent $250,000 to purchase 250 iron trash cans back in 2009. Since then, they've noticed one by one the trash cans are being stolen. So far, 50 are gone. Apparently, each trash can is worth about $2,000 at the scrapyard, meaning someone can make off with a pretty penny if they can figure out a way to haul one off. I guess that could also explain what's happened to the city's phone booths that were made of solid gold. No, just kidding. And that's the way it is today, Friday, May 27th, 2011. I'm Tom Hartman on the news.